Jane Porter is a young woman living in Victorian-era Britain, alongside her father, the esteemed Professor Archimedes Q. Porter. What became of Jane's mother is unknown, though Archimedes briefly mentioned that the daughter takes after her, quite a bit. At adulthood, Jane became an animal researcher in a field that allows her to work closely with her father. Together, they use their combined resources to garner a better understanding of animal habitats and behavior. Their most ambitious expedition is one taking place in Africa, where a long-awaited journey to study gorillas was to occur. Although the character first appeared in the 1912 novel, Tarzan of the Apes, by author Edgar Rice Burroughs, Disney's adaptation of the character first appeared as the deuteragonist in an animated Disney film, Tarzan. Despite her origins linking back to upper-class England, Jane is fairly eccentric and spontaneous, not unlike her father. However, she still has a sense of standards and tries to stay true to her roots as an Englishwoman while also adapting to life in the jungle. Overall, Jane is nevertheless intelligent and greatly gifted in her skills as a zoologist and artist. Seen several times throughout the film, Jane can conjure an extremely accurate representation of an animal, or even a human, such as Tarzan, and portray it on her sketchboard with relative ease and exquisite detail. Though she primarily works from a reference, her sketch of Tarzan was done solely on memory, further exemplifying her talent. Jane is the first and only human heroine from the Disney Renaissance who doesn't have a song or sing. Her voice actress from the 1999 film, Minnie Driver, received an Annie Award nomination for Outstanding Individual Achievement for Voice Acting in an Animated Feature Production.
London will seem so small compared to all this.
I will miss you, Jane.
Miss Porter!
I know, I'm coming. Well, I suppose we should say goodbye.
The scene from the film where Jane describes meeting Tarzan for the first time to her father and Clayton was improvised by Driver, resulting in Jane's animator, Ken Duncan, animating one of the longest animated scenes on record. The scene took 7 weeks to animate and 73 feet of film.
Jane! Where are you? Jane! Oh, Jane! Oh, thank goodness.
Good heavens, what happened?
Are you all right? We've been everywhere looking for you.
Oh my goodness! Daddy! I was walking.
Yes.
Little baby monkey, and I drew a picture.
Yes, go on.
Suddenly, the monkey starts crying.
Oh,
when I
poor
turn around, and there's a whole fleet of them.
What? Of what?
There's an army of monkeys,
What,
a
monkeys?
huge tree full of them.
Monkeys?
Screaming at me.
Now, that's Therapithecus baboonus. She's very good at this.
Oh, really?
Terrified I was, terrified. Suddenly, I was swinging in the vines, up in the air.
With the monkey,
Swinging,
yes.
flying. I was in the
In the
air.
air, yes, I know.
And then we were surrounded.
What did you do?
And Daddy, they took my boot.
They took... those are the ones I bought
And
you.
I was saved. I was saved by a flying wild man in a loincloth.
Loincloth, good Lord.
What is she talking about?
I hadn't the foggiest idea. Takes after her mother, you know. She'd come up with stories like that. Not about men in loincloths, of course, but...
Oh, and there were gorillas.
Gorillas?
They were
You saw the gorillas? Where, Jane? Where?
He left with them.
Who, dear? Who?
Tarzan,
Tarzan?
the ape man.
Jane Porter at one point was considered to be part of the Disney Princess franchise. In November 1999, Jane Porter was announced as the newest princess for the Disney Princess franchise by the official magazine from the United Kingdom. In February 2000, she made another appearance in the magazine, then was never talked about in the franchise. Although Jane had been announced when the franchise was intensified, it has been said she was later removed because her dress color scheme was likely too similar to Belle's. Also, the qualifications for being a Disney princess changed over time, and Jane still wasn't on the list. In the series, The Legend of Tarzan, which takes place shortly after the first movie, Jane is married to Tarzan. Jane, along with her father, have given up life in modern civilization to live with Tarzan in the treehouse that had been built by his late human parents. Throughout the series, Jane has adjusted quite well to her new life in the jungle with Tarzan, but sometimes begins to miss her old life and England. As a result, she would try to get Tarzan to act more civilized, which sometimes poses a problem to Tarzan's moral.
Well, I'm very happy living here in the jungle with Tarzan. Happy? In the jungle? My, you certainly have changed. Changed? In what way? Well, what Eleanor is saying is the Jane Porter we went to finishing school with was a proper lady. And now, well, though it is quite lovely, you do live in what is essentially
A tree. You live in a tree.
But I'm still that proper lady. I'm still the same Jane Porter that you went to finishing school with. I mean, with whom you went to finishing school. Yes.
However, she chooses the life for herself. Some may regard her as a foolish young woman who gave up any chance at happiness for a wild animal. Although this is not true, Jane shows her love and dedication to Tarzan by choosing to stay with him in the jungle instead of returning to England. This decision symbolizes her commitment to their relationship and her desire to embrace a life that is different from her own. Jane's choice reflects the themes of love, sacrifice, and the clash between civilization and nature. By giving up her life in England, she prioritizes her emotional connection with Tarzan over societal expectations and comforts, highlighting the transformative power of love.
Jane, dear, I can't help feeling that you should stay.
Daddy, please don't. We've been through all of this. I couldn't possibly I belong in England and with you, with people, and...
But you love him. Go on.
Thank you. Thanks for getting my glove. Thank you.
As far as Disney's adaptation of the story, Tarzan and Jane goes on to live happily ever after in a jungle paradise together.